Hey guys, Sam here from Ecommerce.com. In this video, I'm interviewing Samuel Larsen from CRO Gurus, and we're going to be talking about improving your store with conversion rate optimization. I'm so excited about this interview. I've been wanting to meet Samuel for a long time now. Samuel, do you want to just give us a bit of information about who you are, your story, and what you do?
Yes. So like Sam here, I'm also a traveling digital nomad entrepreneur. So we both roll around the world running our own agencies, optimizing e-commerce stores. Well, I optimize the stores myself. Sam optimizes the traffic. So it seems like it would be a perfect combination from that perspective. And I run a company that is focused on post traffic. So you have traffic, you have a conversion, average order value, and purchase frequency. I focus on these latter three and just leave traffic to experts like Sam here.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And so for a lot of my viewers, a lot of them are just getting started in e-commerce. They're beginners. Can you break down more about what CRO is and why would it be important for them?
Yes, of course. So the first part that most people start is traffic. And obviously you need traffic for your store, because if you have the greatest store in the world, but it doesn't get any traffic, then it's not going to do you anything. However, traffic is the first step. You need that. However, it's not going to take you all the way to e-commerce success. So what established companies focus on is a lot about retention, conversion optimization. How can we boost that average order value as well in order to get the most out of our traffic? And I hate the term conversion rate optimization from that perspective, because it is really conversion optimization. You are optimizing for that ideal conversion and for that customer that will stick around and not just basically convert to a small purchase and then never come back to it. So it is post-traffic optimization from the perspective that I see it.
Definitely. It sounds like a lot of people spend so much money and time on their ads and their traffic, and they just totally forget about the conversions and actually maximizing that. What sort of value do you generally see? Like how much, when you start doing some conversion optimization, how much do you find that you can actually improve the value that you get from that traffic?
Yeah, this is a question that depends a lot on the starting point. But the good part is if you already have a lot of traffic, then you don't need to up your conversion rate that much in order to show a positive impact on that. However, it might also be the case where you don't have traffic because your store sucks, basically. So you cannot afford to buy that traffic. The more traffic you buy, the more you lose. So from that perspective, it can be a business changing thing where you cannot succeed without a good store. However, for most clients, it is something where we already have a winning combination and we're just looking to win more, to scale that. And typically, if you are able to, let's say, double your conversion rate, we often see that the revenue is actually 8xing, for example, because then you can just gather so much more traffic. And the goal here with this post-traffic optimization is to get to a point where you are able to afford to pay more for your visitor than your competition. And that's where you're basically driving them out from the ads market itself, and you can just dominate there. So it becomes your playing field if you manage to do this perfectly.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. And so a lot of my viewers are just getting started. Even if they just only have a few thousand views per month on their site, can they still do CRO? Like what would you recommend them to start off with?
Yes, they definitely can. There's this misconception that CRO is A/B testing. So you don't have to pick all the tools from the tool set in order to be able to improve your store. So in that kind of case, you just start with something smaller and you are looking to pick from the lowest hanging fruits first. Let's say many store owners, actually, you'd be shocked, have never checked or looked at their checkout. So in many cases, you see on Shopify stores that you have the different checkout button colors on the checkout than the store, or you haven't put the logo on the checkout itself. So those kind of things are things that anybody can do. And for those people that want to optimize their store, I would start from the checkout itself. There's a lot of best practices that you can follow. I made a video about this that became really popular. So we can link down to it below in order to give people something that they can start from. If you're just a small business owner and you're looking to optimize the store without really having that much traffic or conversions to begin with, where I would start is best practices from cart and checkout. And that's because every single buyer will go through cart and they will go through checkout. Those are the two pages that every buyer will go through. And even if you have a million products, you don't have to start from each individual product because you only have one cart page and one checkout experience. So that is the highest leverage thing to start off from.
Definitely. So a lot of people are going to have multiple products on their store. If you don't have a lot of volume of traffic, well, all those people go through the checkout and the cart anyway. So you can have a huge impact. Rather than changing every single product page a little bit, you can then leverage and amplify that everyone goes through those checkout pages. So yeah, that makes so much sense. Are there any other big best practices that you would recommend for the checkout or the cart page?
Yes, obviously you want to make sure that the experience looks like it belongs to your store. So that's the number one thing. Now, Shopify checkout itself is actually pretty good. People make this misconception that, people are dropping on the checkout, it must be the checkout. But oftentimes, since the checkout is the same as pretty much every other store, with minor tweaks that you can do here and there, it is a pre-existing problem. So what you can do is think of it in terms of the buyer's checklist. So you have issues that can cause people to drop off from conversion. So it's sort of like objections to the purchase. So typical ones, it's too expensive, AKA I don't see the value. So there you can emphasize that a little bit more, emphasize the quality of the product, those kind of things. So that will help in overcoming that objection. Another objection could be shipping times, or I don't understand the shipping. So pretty easy, like, let's have the shipping visible, let's have it clear, let's have it transparent, let's add order tracking in order for people to really trust that I am going to get the product, because there's a lot of scams on the internet as well. These kind of things are really easy low-hanging fruits. One thing you can also think through is your visitor path. So nothing exists in isolation. Like you don't optimize just the site. You also optimize pre and post purchase. So pre-purchase, pre-landing the site is an experience that you want to match with your site as well. So if people are clicking to a Facebook ads that is completely different or sets the wrong expectations, then they're going to land to the site and be like, where am I? And you're going to cause a lot of people to drop off there.
Definitely. Yeah. So part of it is setting expectations. So when they get to the checkout, they just breeze right through and they're not stuck there.
Yes. Checkout is where you want to get out of the way. Checkout and cart is where you want to get out of the way. You have got them to this point. Now the path is clear. Like just go here, and we have given you the instructions in order for you to feel confident about doing this. You're almost like coaching them to buy it beforehand. You want to make sure that when they get to that line, they're ready. That means going over those basics that I just talked about. So making sure that you have these objections mapped and you understand what is causing people to not buy. That's the highest leverage thing you can do in the beginning.
Definitely. And what you said before about people not having the right expectations because of the ad on Facebook, it really sounds to me that the CRO, the website conversion, isn't separate from the traffic. They both are in unison, and you need to make sure they're cohesive across. The branding is the same, the messaging and understanding your customers. Yeah, it's so true. And on the site, what are some of the big mistakes that you see new e-com store owners make that could impact their conversion rates in a bad way?
Yes. Well, first mistake I'd say is they just feel the team. So the easiest thing to begin with, of course, you're starting a store and you're focused only on two things. You're looking to find a winning product and you're looking to find a winning ad. And that's where all of your focus is going to. However, ads, they're definitely important. You should have great ads. However, ads is the first click, and there's going to be 5, 6, 7 clicks before anybody can even buy. So from that perspective, the store itself is actually way more important for the buyer than the ad. So you want to make sure that you are not just filling in the theme and basically offering it as a catalog. So you have your products and they're just listed there. You copied the product description from AliExpress and you have bad photos. So nobody would want to buy from the store. So basically, you didn't even give your ads a success or a chance to succeed. You need to put yourself in a position to succeed with your store. So that's the first thing. Now, related to that thing, like filling in the team, you also need to be very clear business-wise, like what is your value proposition? How are you going to communicate it? So it is understandable instantly. We work a lot with the stores and we see their banners and they're just like, okay, sale here. And that's basically their strategy. Okay, like you might have that. But how do you get people to actually come back? And only with a strong, clear value proposition can you talk to these people in a way that they can say like, oh, this is my store, instead of, okay, I buy this product because it's discounted. So
Definitely.
there you're actually building a long-term business with that strategy. And that's the way that you should start when you start with your Shopify journey. It's like, think of it with a multi-year perspective. You're not just looking to make a quick buck out of drop shipping. Rather, how do you keep those customers for ideally life? And that's where it's really important to start understanding the customer perspective there. There's a concept called explanation gap that is super prominent on so many stores. So you understand the product and to you, everything's obvious. You understand your shipping terms, you understand payments, etc. However, the visitor, he has like 30 seconds of experience from your store and your products. Like he's not going to understand everything. So we need to be able to walk them through that. And the number one thing you can do if you're just starting out and you're having a store that you haven't put that much effort into it is to just add copywriting to it. So you add a little bit more text to cover those objections. So how does the shipping work? And like, what's the return policy? Those kind of things. And the more content you typically have, to an extent, of course, the better you'll do. Like, so product videos, these kind of things. And it is an investment, of course. You need to be willing to make it. And you can either invest into your advertising in the beginning, and at some point you're going to hit that ceiling, or you can really take a long-term view and focus on this. There is no set it and forget it when it comes to e-commerce stores. Like things are moving fast, just like with, let's say, Facebook ads or even Google ads. Like you are having different bidding strategies, etc. So things need to be optimized constantly.
Definitely, 100%. And it's something that I talk about in a lot of my videos is really understanding your customer, who you're selling to, and crafting all the pages directly for those people with the language they use and everything like that. And a lot of stores that I see, new stores, and maybe you see the same, they just don't have really any copy there. It's just copy and pasted from their supplier, or they just have one or two sentences in the description, and it's just a catalog. It doesn't, people are only going to buy that if they really, really want that product already. They know what it is. But when you're trying to convert people that aren't at the very bottom of the funnel, it is much, much harder because you don't really have any competitive advantage over your competitors. It's crazy.
Yeah, you didn't pick a good position there to really do the sale. Like,
yeah,
you would never buy that from the store yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a long stretch to imagine that a complete stranger would be that interested.
100%. And that's what I say to some people is when they ask me, okay, why isn't my store converting? And one thing I ask is, have you stopped and thought about, would you buy from this store yourself? And when a lot of time when someone's creating a store, they're trapped in their own experience and they limit the quality of the store based on their own expectations, their own standards. Oh, that's the best that I can do. I don't have much design experience. That's the best that I can do. So that's a good store. Rather than stepping back and comparing to some of the best stores in your niche and actually going, would I buy from this store myself?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a great question to think through it. Like helps tremendously. Why should you buy from this store and not from Amazon?
Yes.
So you are not going to price beat Amazon on this. You are not going to beat their shipping terms. You're not going to beat their return terms. You're not going to have more trust on your store. However, one thing you can do for sure is you can be more relatable. You can take a small business approach, and you can definitely niche down. So if you become the number one store, let's say in fishing rods, it's just a random example, but the people can really relate to that. And
Yes.
People want to buy from experts. So that's a good approach to think through. And right now you have your unique value proposition already. You have a reason why people would buy from there. So those elements suddenly from Amazon, they start to be stacked for you instead of against you. And that's a really good framework for thinking through, because that's what customers are thinking. If you have some people going there for store, like you have that thing like, okay, I saw this ad. Hey, here's a fishing rod. What is it like? How much is it priced in Amazon? Let's go and find out. Oh, it's cheaper. Okay, cool. Let's buy it from here. And this is actually happening also on traditional retail. People go and like, oh, this is a good shoe for me. Fits well. Let's go to Amazon and buy the same shoe.
100%. Yeah, it's so true. It's a really good analogy. Would someone buy from my store or on Amazon? I like that. I'm going to use that. That's, if you don't mind, that's pretty good. I have another question so we talked about the cart and the checkout, a lot of the common mistakes people make. In the overall store, what are some of the biggest low-hanging fruit you see time and time again for these new stores that when you order the store, you just know that they're the first things that you check?
Yes. So when we get a new store and when we start optimizing it, we do two things basically. First of all, we do a technical analysis on it. So there's this concept that in order for your store to be persuasive, it actually needs to work first. And many Shopify themes, and this is not really the sexiest topic to discuss about, but it's what gets results. So you are having a lot of visitors come with these things, mobiles. And with mobiles, you have a ton of different resolutions, you have different browsers, different operating systems. So these themes tend to break when you start adding content. So that's the number one thing. If you have a broken experience, you cannot really be persuasive or optimize the store further. Second thing we look at is the so-called conversion optimization leaks. So you have different things. And the way I like to think about it is that you always have two opposing forces. You have your friction. So those are your buying objections. What is stopping people from purchasing from the store? And the second thing you have is your existing visitor motivation. So these two are almost like battling, and you want to make sure that the motivation wins. So what you're looking to do here is reducing that friction, aka making it easy for people to, first of all, the first challenge is finding a product that they like. So there, you can think of it in terms of your structure. Are my collections in Shopify or categories in all the other e-commerce sites, are they logical? Are they easy to use? Do I have a good menu structure? So those are the basic things. Then from that, once they have found the category that they like, category pages, if you have a lot of products, you should definitely work on your filtering. So that's a thing that most people overlook because they don't go and try to find a specific product from their store. And this is actually something that we would do on user testing on. So go and find a dress for you, size 38, under 40 euros. Then you see like how it actually looks from the visitor experience.
Yeah, definitely. So what you're talking about is like when someone goes to the homepage, how do they find what they're looking for? Is that what you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's multiple paths oftentimes. So they can go through the search. Oftentimes, like if they know there's something, they would go to search. There, you should definitely have a suggestive search. And you should then be able to show like different products, even as people type. If there's no search results, you should show different like possible solutions for that. So if there's no black dress, maybe you'd like this. So that's for bigger stores. And then you want to think through what criteria people are shopping through. So if people are often want to filter by price, for example, you should have that in your filtering. You might even want to create a category for that for some cases. So for example, in a gifting industry, you often have gifts under $50, for example. So that's just adapting to the visitor and how they are shopping. Now, from the collections or category pages, you have now had the purple, find the product that they want, and now they land on the product page. There are a few things come up all the time. So first of all, in the fashion industry, sizing is so important. Returns are so important, for example. So they want to make sure that those policies are clear. Then it is a little bit of industry specific. So for example, wish lists might be useful in the jewelry industry. However, useless when it comes to outdoor furniture, for example. So you need to be able to adjust to this. But generally, what I'd say for the product page, you need to have more copy, the higher the product price. And the more complicated the product is, the more explanation is needed. So there, start thinking it through that way. And here you can do that 90-10 analysis here, because typically there's 10% of products that are providing 90% of the results. So it's easy to start from those ones, and you can just ignore everything else from the beginning. So make sure that you have those, and then you are already probably ahead of 95% of the competition, because they have never really thought it through like this. And if you really want to get into how visitors are using your store, the number one thing I'd recommend is just installing a session recording app like Lucky Orange or Hotjar. Lucky Orange is great for Shopify. And your mission then is to spend a day watching your visitors go through your store and try to understand how they're doing. It's the best thing you can do. Like think through those objections and think through what is stopping people. And then you will be smarter, not only as a store optimizer, but as a marketer as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, 100% agree. We often use Hotjar as well for our clients and stores. And I've made a video on that on my channel. I'll leave a link below as well. Great software to use. It's crazy because a lot of the time people find it really hard to look at Google Analytics because it can be mind-boggling to see all these numbers and understand and make sense of the data. With a screen recording software like Lucky Orange or Hotjar, it shows you, it recreates that session that the user goes through. You can see them scrolling and clicking. It's much easier to tell the story behind the data with that and make assumptions and make changes to your website. So it's really, really helpful. Man.
Yes, it's very, very visitor, beginner friendly. Yeah, that's why it's so good. Analytics can take a lot of time to learn to use it well, but Hotjar, you can just set it and go.
Definitely, 100%. There you go, guys. Thanks so much, Samuel, for jumping on and having a chat with me. I really hope that was helpful for you guys out there. If you want to learn more about Samuel and the work he does, I'm going to leave a link to his website and his YouTube channel in the description below. Go check him out. He's making a lot of great content for e-commerce store owners on CRO and how to improve your website and your conversion rates. And guys, if you want to see the interview that Sam did with me, where he asked me a lot of questions about Google Ads and e-commerce stores, go and check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. That's going to be really helpful for a lot of you anyway. And check out his channel. A lot of great content there. Thanks so much, Samuel, again. And yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.